here today for New York's first ever breast cancer motorcycle ride. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some special guests who are here with us today. Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins, the Senate Democratic leader. Assemblyman Jeff Aubrey. Assemblyman Mike Benedetto. Assemblyman Mike Dendecker. Assemblyman Francesco Moya. Assemblyman Mike Simanowicz. Assemblymember Arabella Simonis. Assemblymember David Weprin. Assemblymember Alice Cancel. Councilman James Vaca. Councilmember Elizabeth Crowley. Ken Rasky, the president of the Greater New York Hospital Association. Jill Ferrillo, executive director of the New York State Nurses Association. William Lauder, chairman of the Breast Cancer Foundation, and Estee Lauder. Colonel Eric Hesse, director of the New York State Division of Veterans Affairs. Sam Roberts, commissioner of the New York State Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. All our wonderful New York Mets employees, and all our breast cancer advocates, welcome here today. We are very lucky to be joined by Governor Cuomo, Sandra Lee, and legendary musician Billy Joel. Together with the hundreds of participants, all working towards the common goal of raising breast cancer awareness. Breast cancer is the second most common cause of death among women in New York. We here at the Mets know it all too well. We lost a beloved member of our family, Shannon Ford, a 44-year-old mother of two, who succumbed to a 3.5-year battle of stage 4 breast cancer this past March. Not a day goes by where Shannon is not in our thoughts. Approximately 15,000 new cases are diagnosed every year. In 2014 alone, nearly a quarter of women between the ages of 50 to 74 reported not having mammograms at least every other year. While many day-to-day activities can be easily put off without serious consequences, getting screened for breast cancer is not one of them. While we have made tremendous progress in New York to expand access to these services, thankfully, Governor Cuomo realized more needed to be done. Under the governor's leadership, New York is taking the most aggressive action in the nation to spread awareness about the importance of and increasing access to screenings. Like so many other critical initiatives in this state, and often across this nation, Governor Cuomo is once again leading the charge. Thank you, Governor. The legislation we are signing here today will ensure that women can get treatment at the earliest stage possible and drastically increase their likelihood of survival. As we ride today, we are riding in support of women of all walks of life. Mothers, daughters, sisters, and friends. And as we celebrate and champion the health and well-being of all New Yorkers, we are lucky to have a true friend, advocate, and leader in Assemblywoman Dee Barrett. Please join me in welcoming the co-sponsor of this important legislation, Assemblyman Dee Barrett.
I think I can do that without it. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and great to see so many friends, advocates, survivors, legislators all here today. Thank you for being here. It's a big day for women across the state because we're here at Citi Field to raise awareness of one of the most critically important issues today, and that's increasing access to testing and treatment for breast cancer. As you know, breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in New York and the second leading cause of cancer deaths among women in our great state. We are so lucky to have the governor and his commitment to protect public health and ensure equal access to quality, affordable health care. This new legislation, which we are going to sign today, is truly life-changing and will ensure millions of women across New York have the opportunity to obtain the critical services and supports they need by getting rid of the barriers and obstacles that have kept them from getting tested and screened early. As we all know, that's when lives get saved. The new from extending clinic hours beyond the typical 9 to 5 to eliminating annual deductibles and co-payments, which is a huge change, for mandating 4 hours of leave from each year for breast cancer screening for all public employees here. This sweeping legislation is a victory for all New Yorkers. Now, as we celebrate and champion the health and well-being of all women, we're lucky to have a friend and advocate with us who's been involved in this issue for many years, and that is Senator John Flanagan. Senator Flanagan has dedicated himself to getting people the tools they need to fight breast cancer, specifically dealing with breast density, which was a really important issue, and promoting early detection, treatment, and early diagnosis. Now please join me in welcoming Senate Majority Leader John Flanagan.
So good morning. I am so unbelievably happy to be here today as a proud New Yorker, as an elected official. I want to welcome all my colleagues in government, especially Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who's a champion for all these issues on a regular basis. I want to thank the Mets at Citi Field and all the Mets employees in Hayda for their incredible work all the time, not just today. They certainly deserve our support whenever we can give it to them. And I've been asked to make brief comments. And since I don't have sunscreen on, I'm going to make them really brief. So oftentimes in life, we get a chance to work on issues that become important to us because of constituents, because of family members, friends, or relatives. And the governor has obviously taken up this issue in a huge way, having started it very clearly during his State of the State message. He was unabashed in what he was advocating. And the good news is, between then and now, we got a lot of good things done. Now, for me personally, I had a catalyst who, this woman is one of the people that I adore, and she is a constituent of mine. Her name is Joanne Pushkin, who is sitting right here in the audience. She came to me, and yeah, give her a round of applause. Give her a round of applause, because she came to me and we worked very clearly on issues involving breast density, and that is a catalyst for some of the things that we're talking about today. Now, just think about this. A woman should never have to choose between paying her electric bill or buying food or paying a mortgage or putting gas in the car. All of those things are essential, but nothing is more essential than your basic health. Lack of copays, no more deductibles, greater access, that actually will save lives. Save lives. Now, before I introduce the gentleman I'm supposed to, I want to really and truly thank the governor. The governor has been a great partner on these issues, and guess what? There are a lot of people who accuse me of working too closely with the governor. I'll take credit for doing that, because these are real-life issues, and this makes a difference in everyone's life every single day. So to Governor Cuomo, kudos to you and congratulations. And I also want to thank, it is so absolutely wonderful to see her. I don't see her frequently, but she's a person who can bring a smile to anybody's face. Sandra Lee, it's wonderful to see you here today. And now I get to close on this. We have a lot more work to do, so we're going to focus on doing that. But the thing that I get to do now, I'm like a kid in a candy store right now, and I'm not going to lie, my kids are going to be so jealous. I get to introduce an icon from New York, someone who has just been a fabulous, quintessential New Yorker in so many ways. And when he lends his voice and his support to issues like this, that makes a tremendous, tremendous difference. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know him, but I get to introduce him, Billy Joel.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here to support this bill. I think it's a great bill. Everybody's telling me what a great bill I am, but this is a very good bill. I have a 30-year-old daughter and a 10-month-old daughter, and I'm very happy that this is going to be legislated. And let me introduce someone who knows firsthand what they're talking about, Sandra Lee.
I want to thank all of you for coming out here today. And I want to thank the Senate and the Assembly for passing this bill. And I want to thank Andrew for creating it and for pushing it through. You know, I have to tell you, breast cancer is a very special kind of hell. It is not something that you want to hear when you get done with your screening. But an early diagnosis is what you want to hear, which is what I heard, because I am religious about getting my screenings every single year. There is no more excuses why you can't go in and get your screenings. They're now free. The clinics and the hospitals are open late and on weekends for you to go in. And I know we all have busy lives with our kids and our family and our jobs and our friends and all of our obligations. But you being here to make sure that everybody in your world is healthy and happy is what's most important. Because if you're not here, who knows what could happen? Andrew and I have been together for 11 years. And when I say, thank you. And when I tell you that breast cancer is a couple and a family's disease, it really is. It is the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want to thank Andrew first and foremost for everything, for all your help, honey. I love you. I will not cry. And when I say the good, the bad, and the ugly, what is good about breast cancer? Well, in our household, what's good about it is today happened and this bill happened, and that is good. What is bad is the deep dive that you have to go and make when you're diagnosed with it, even at early stage, which is what you need to be diagnosed at, which is the reason for this bill. The ugly is if you don't take responsibility for your own health and get your rear end in and get yourself tested. Don't be afraid, because early diagnosis, if you're religious about getting screened, that's what you will have. So go in and get it done. And it's my absolute pleasure to introduce to you my sweetheart. They're doing a flyover for him. The wonderful Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First to Hader and the Wilpons and the Mets. Let's thank them for their hospitality today. As a Queens boy, it's a special honor for me to be here today with the Mets. To all my colleagues in the legislature who are here, the Assembly and the Senate who actually passed the bill, let's give them a round of applause. To Assemblywoman Dee Dee Barrett, who's worked on this issue for a long time, and to Senator John Flanagan, who's been working on it for years and years and really addressed the density issue, which was a major issue in screening. We thank them very much, and let's give them a round of applause. To the pilot who's flying that plane, let's make sure he lands safely. And to Billy Joel, who is a good friend, but more than a personal friend, he's a great friend to the state of New York. And whenever we need him, whatever the issue, whether it's Hurricane Sandy, an environmental issue, a philanthropic issue, he is always there for New York. He's there today. Let's give him another round of applause. And to Sandra Lee, who has taken a really long, negative situation And breast cancer, I had so many wrong preconceptions. I thought it was going to be a difficult period, but it would be a short period and then it would be over. It's over a year and it's still not over. And it's every day and it changes your life and it's something you live with every day. And she has taken a negative, a personal negative, and she has, through strength of character, found a way to turn it into a positive by her advocacy efforts and education efforts and helping other women so they don't have to go through it. And to me, that is the most beautiful test of a person who can take a negative impulse and rather going down and rather than feeling sorry for themselves, can turn it around and make it a benefit to others. And let's give her a round of applause, Sandra Lee. You know, Senator Flanagan said we get criticized for working together because we're people of a different party. And today in politics, they think people of different parties shouldn't work together. That's why this country is in the state that this country is in. That's Washington. That's gridlock. That's politics over public policy. We took a different approach in Albany. And we said we're sent here to do good things and we're sent here to get things done. And we work together and we get things done. In this past session, we got a lot of great things done for this state and this city. We passed the best paid family leave law in the country. We have the highest amount of education spending ever. We have middle class taxes down to the lowest level in 30 years. We signed a great heroin policy that's really going to wind up making a major difference in addiction and opioid use. We're rebuilding New York, LaGuardia Airport over here, Penn Station, Farley. But I think probably one of the most important things we did is this piece of legislation, because this is going to save lives, literally. And it's very straightforward. I spent over a year with Sandy in hospitals, talking to doctors, talking to women. We all know the best way to deal with breast cancer is to get there early, and that screening and early detection is the best program you can have. The question is, why aren't more women screening? Why aren't they going on time? Why do we have such a large percentage of women who are not going for screening past the time that they should be? And I had a lot of time to talk to a lot of people about it. And we took all the, I call excuses, all the reasons people weren't getting screened, and we spent months figuring out how to address each one. The first one was women said it costs too much. If I go for screening, I have to pay my deductible, I have to pay copay. This piece of legislation has the insurance companies paying the entire cost of the screening. There is no copay, there is no deductible, so there is no cost to a woman to have a screening. First time ever. Second was, well, there's no time. I have kids, I'm at work. By the time I get home, the hospital's closed, the clinic's closed. By this law, 200 hospitals across the state will be open 4 hours per week beyond 5 o'clock in the evening and on the weekend, so they'll be there when women are ready to get screened. The facilities will be open to do the screening, and I want to thank Ken Rasky and the Greater New York Hospital Association for the kindness and the professionalism to do this. The third reason, well, it's too complicated. We don't know how to do it. We don't know where to go. This bill sets up a series of navigators, basically personal consultants. You dial a phone, you get a person for a change, and the person will tell you how to get insurance coverage, where to go in your neighborhood to get this screening. So one phone call and you can get all the information. Those were the main reasons people weren't getting screened. It's too expensive. I don't have the time. I don't know where to go. This bill answers every one of those questions. There's no cost. The hospitals will be open in hours that you're available, and we have people to walk you through the system. The only thing that is left is women have to take the first step. And a lot of people don't go because they're afraid. Sometimes you don't want to know. Sometimes you don't even want to think about it. What this ride is about, and we started in Long Island this morning and we're going all through the state, we need women to take the first step. We resolved all the problems. There are no excuses, but government can only do so much. And we need women now to know, get the word out, get screened. It is the best policy. It is a matter of life and death. Thank God Sandy went for screenings. She went for screenings religiously. It was caught early, and the prognosis is very, very good, and she is cancer-free. If she had not had that screening, it could have very well been a very different outcome. 15,000 women in this state per year are diagnosed with breast cancer. Let's make sure it's at the earliest stages. We're going to sign that bill. We're going to save lives. This is government at its best. I applaud Senator Flanagan. I applaud Dee Dee Barrett. But I applaud every member of the legislature who did exactly what they were sent there to do, to make life better for people. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. One other thing, while we're getting ready for the picture, we want to thank Harley Davidson, which has donated this motorcycle to support the ride. It's going to be auctioned off after the ride. It is a beautiful bike, so keep it in mind, and let's thank Harley Davidson. Thank you.